A shot rang out. Mass confusion here.
Hi, how are you? 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 Hi, how are you?
Hi, how are you? Just a couple of observations on this Alyssa Heinerscheid, the graduate of Harvard University who took over as VP of Marketing for Bud Light to rebrand this iconic classic American beer that typically is sold in a can to college students and blue-collar workaday guys who typically pay for it with fistfuls of change. The beer that you open and you're immediately treated to that waft of watery cat urine that leaks out of the top of it. Yeah, that's the one. Take a look at the marketing team that presumably she's herself assembled in order to rebrand this iconic American brand. Take a look at them. It's like a bunch of 25-year-old sorority girls who are working an internship somewhere and really aren't concerned about producing anything. They're just there to sort of party. Look at this idiot here with the hat on. I'm wearing a winter hat indoors. It's a fashion statement. Can I tell you something, sweetheart? That is the female equivalent of a man with a bad toupee. Nobody likes that. You look like an idiot. Take the stupid hat off. Here's another observation. Look at the size of the mouth on this woman. Have you ever seen a mouth that big? I mean, that is absolutely cavernous. I've never seen a mouth that big on a human being. Look at her. A cat could crawl in there and take a nap and she'd never know it. She got teeth the size of encyclopedias. My God. It's like a black hole. There's probably just matter of all sorts that just gravitating into that giant hole everywhere she goes. Now, all you have to do is listen to this woman for a torturous 2 minutes to know everything that you're in store for.
Create a space in work and life, this sort of safe space to be vulnerable. We have to create these spaces, and that's the safe space. Safe space, create a safe space, creating an emotional safe space. So remembering what is your safe space, creating it.
Yeah. You hear that? Everything is safe space, and we need a space, and create a space, and safe space, and a safe space, and creating space. Oh my God, it was dizzying. Listen to the number of times that she used the word space in that interview with that giggling idiot interviewer who just sat next to her the whole time, and every once in a while she'd just slip in, amazing, amazing.
This is just all amazing.
Yeah, you know what's amazing? That anyone chose you to interview Idiot of the Year. That's what's amazing. This woman is full of these buzzwords, this woke ideology that's absolutely imprinted on her soul by this useless university, probably the worst university in the country right now. All she does is talk about herself. She loves to use this woke terminology, my North Star, what's in your worry box, vulnerability, value systems, on and on and on. Every statement that she makes isn't really a statement because it's hedged with this terminology, this phraseology. Every sentence is preceded with kind of or sort of. Well, what we sort of thought we would do is like kind of take the brand and then sort of take it and kind of go in a new direction altogether, like create a safe space for vulnerability and sort of like market and that, I just can't take it.
And sort of have these kind of fun over wine.
It's unbelievable. 90 seconds into a blind date, anyone would have been able to see. I would have been making my phone go off. Oh my God, I'm sorry, Alyssa. Listen, it's really nice to meet you. I've got an emergency right now that people are dying and I've got to go. I'm sorry. We'll reschedule. Thanks for coming out. Here, I'll just get the bill. She loves to use buzzwords like kiddos. Please stop using the term kiddos, all right? It's not clever. It's not interesting. It's annoying to hear it. Just say my children or my kids. But this my kiddos thing, it's like you don't really want to say the word. You don't really want to acknowledge that you have children. So they're just like these objects that you refer to as kiddos, these things like kiddos, like some kind of new pet that no one's heard of. Oh, my kiddos. Oh, okay, that's clever, Alyssa. She doesn't really deserve any blame herself in this. I don't really hold her accountable for anything. She did exactly what anyone with a half a brain would have expected her to do. The people who deserve the blame are the people who get to remain nameless and faceless. The executives at Anheuser-Busch who sat around that table and all looked at each other and went, yeah, this is exactly who we want. She's from Harvard. She's a woman, and we can say we've hired the first woman to be the VP of marketing of Bud Light. Really? Well, how'd that work out for you? What was her clever, innovative strategy? Well, we've got to save the brand or it's going to die. So we've got to come up with some clever way to market and get away from the frattiness and sort of expand and kind of make a safe space and sort of kind of market the thing. And so what was her big innovative strategy? She took transgender ideology and baked it into the brand and then pushed it on the audience for the shock value. Wow, that's amazing. I don't think a single American corporation has thought of that yet, have they? Alyssa, you're so clever and innovative. What a genius you are. Truly a unique thinker. No, every company has done that. It's exactly in line what every other stupid American company has done. No different. None whatsoever. So no one should be surprised at this. You could have got, there are tons of Alyssa Heinerscheids out there. It really didn't matter. They could have just pulled names out of a hat from Harvard University and got the same exact thing. They wanted to be able to brag that they hired a woman, and they wanted somebody who they knew was going to be a woke moron with the wokeism imprinted on their soul and push their product with the transgender ideology baked into it, thrust on the audience, and they could enjoy this moment of shock and awe as everybody was repelled by it, and there was a great controversy. Well, let me know how much Bud Light that sells for you. Idiots. You deserve everything that's coming to you, which is to say, no sales. Bye-bye, Bud Light.